and as cold as the clay. I see by your outfit that you are a cowboy. These words he did say as I boldly stepped by. Come sit down beside me and hear my sad story. Got shot in the breast and I know I must die. Oh, beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly. Play the death march as you carry me along. Take me to the valley and lay the sod o'er me, for I'm a young cowboy and know I've done wrong. I was once in the saddle, I used to go dashing. Once in the saddle I used to go gay. First started to drinking, then started card playing. Got shot in the breast and you see where I lie. Go bring me a cup of cool water to cool my parched lips. Then the poor cowboy said. But when I'd returned, his spirit had left him, had gone to its maker. The cowboy was dead. We beat the drum slowly and played the fife lowly, and bitterly wept as we pulled him along. For we all loved our comrades, so brave and so handsome. We loved our young cowboy, although he done wrong.
Well, I remember one September on a Friday night, Stagger Lee and Billy Lion had a big fight crying, when you lose your money, learn to lose. Old Billy Lion shot 6 bets, Stagger Lee bet that he'd pass. Stagger Lee out with his 45 said, you done bet your last. When you lose your money, learn to lose. Well, the woman come a-running, she fell down on her knees, crying, oh, Mr. Stagger Lee, don't shoot my brother, please. When you lose your money, learn to lose. It was way down in the gambling hall, fighting on the floor. Old Stagger Lee pulled the trigger of that smoking 44. When you lose your money, learn to lose. Well, you talk about some gamblers, you should have seen old Richard Lee. He bet $1,000, then he come out on a 3. When you lose your money, learn to lose. Old Billy Lion said to Stagger Lee, don't take my life. I got 2 little babies and a darling loving wife. When you lose your money, learn to lose. Now what do I care about your little babies, your darling loving wife? Boy, you done took my Stetson hat and I'm bound to take your life. When you lose your money, learn to lose. Now, gentlemen of the jury, what do you think about that? Old Stagger Lee killed Billy Lion about a $5 Stetson hat. When you lose your money, learn to lose. Well, the judge said, Mr. Stagger Lee, oh, Mr. Stagger Lee, I'm gonna lock your body up and set your spirit free. When you lose your money, learn to lose. When you lose your money, learn to lose.
Belle Star is a rider, wild bronco she breaks, but she promised to quit it just for my sake. She ties up one foot and the saddle puts on. With a swing and a jump she is mounted and gone. The first time I met her 'twas early one spring, riding a bronco, a high-headed thing. She tipped me a wink as she gaily did go, for she wished me to look at her bucking bronco. Hoopy-tie-di-hi-di-hi-di-hi-di-oh, hoopy-tie-di-hi-di-hi-oh. The next time I seen Belle 'twas late in the fall, swinging all night down at Tomlinson's Hall. She laughed as she talked as we danced to and fro, promised she'd never ride another bronco. I made her some presents, among them a ring. The return that she made was a far better thing. 'Twas a young maiden's heart, I would have you to know. Told her to quit riding bucking broncos. Hoopy-tie-di-hi-di-hi-di-hi-di-oh, hoopy-tie-di-hi-di-hi-oh. My love has a gun, and that gun she can use, but she's quit her gun fighting as well as her booze. And she sold off her saddle, her gun, and her rope. There's no more gunfighting, at least that's what I hope. Now all you young cowboys, where'er you reside, beware of the gal when she swings the rawhide. You court her and pet her, and off she will go up the trail any time there's a bucking bronco. Hoopy-yi-di-yi-do-li-di-yi-di-do, hoopy-ti-yi-do.
Sam Bass was born in Indiana, it was his native home. And at the age of 17, young Sam began to roam. He first came out to Texas, a cowboy for to be. A kinder-hearted fellow you will seldom ever see. Sam used to deal in race stock, one called the Denton mare. He matched her in scrub races and took her to the fair. Sam used to coin the money and spend it just as free. He always drank good whiskey wherever he may be. Old Sam left the Collins Ranch, 'twas in the month of May, with a herd of Texas cattle, the Black Hills for to see. Sold out in Custer City and then got on a spree. A harder set of cowboys you will seldom ever see. On their way back to Texas, they robbed the UP train, and then split up in couples and started out again. Joe Collins and his partner were overtaken soon. With all their hard-earned money, seems they had to meet their doom. Sam met his fate at Round Rock, July the 21st. They pierced poor Sam with rifle balls and emptied out his purse. Poor Sam, he is a corpse now and 6 feet under clay, and Jackson's in the bushes a-trying to get away. Jim had borrowed Sam's good gold and didn't want to pay. The only shot he saw was to give poor Sam away. He sold out Sam and Barnes then and left their friends to mourn. Oh, what a scorching Jim will get when Gabriel blows his horn.
Desperate boy, said he carried 2 guns every day. Shot his man in the Shawnee camp, and I saw John Hardy get away, poor boy. Saw John Hardy get away. John Hardy was standing drinking by the bar. He were unconcerned with the game, when a pretty gal threw down 50 cents and said, "Deal John Hardy in the game, poor boy. Deal John Hardy in the game." Now John Hardy stepped up with the money in his hand. Said, boys, I've got the money to play. And the man that wins this pretty gal's money, I've got the powder to blow him away, poor boy, powder to blow him away. The cards they was dealt and the money on the board, Dave Campbell won that $20 bill. John Hardy drew his pistols and he took sure aim and fired, and he caused Dave Campbell's brains to spill, poor boy, caused Dave Campbell's brains to spill. Hardy had 12 long miles to go, 6 of them he ran till he came to the White River's bank. Then he fell on his bosom and he swam, poor boy, fell on his bosom and he swam. John Hardy came in that long, low town where he thought he'd be out of the way. But the marshal stepped up and took him by the hand, said, Johnny, come along with me, poor boy, John Hardy, come along with me. John Hardy was standing in his cold prison cell with a tear streaming down his eyes. Said, been the death of many a poor boy, now I'm ready to die, Lord, 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 now I'm ready to die, Lord, Lord. They took John Hardy to the burying ground, took him there for to die. And the very last words John Hardy ever said, my 45 had never told a lie, poor boy, my 45 had never told a lie. John Hardy were a brave and a desperate boy, said he carried 2 guns every day. Shot his man in the Shawnee camp, and I saw John Hardy get away, poor boy. Saw John Hardy get away. You have read the story of Jesse James, of how he lived and died. If you still are in need of something to read, here's the story of Bonnie and Clyde. Now Bonnie and Clyde are the Barrow Gang. I'm sure you all have read how they rob and steal, and how those who squeal are usually found dying or dead. There are lots of untruths to their write-ups. They are not so merciless as that, but they have their little flaws. They hate all the laws, the spotters, stool pigeons, and rats. They say they are killers, heartless and mean, but I say this with pride, that I once knew old Clyde and rode by his side. He was honest and upright and clean, but the law fooled around, kept tracking him down and locking him up in a cell, till he said to me, I will never be free, so I'll meet a few of them down below. If a marshal is killed in Old Dallas town, and they have no clues for a guide to bring the case to an end, they'll pin it on a friend or hang it on Bonnie and Clyde. 2 crimes have been done in America, not accredited to the Barrow mob, for they had no hand in Lindbergh's kidnapping demand or the Kansas City Depot job. A newsboy said to his buddy one day, I wish old Clyde would get jumped. In these awful hard times we might make a few dimes If 5 or 6 more laws got bumped, the police ain't got the report yet. Clyde said it by wireless today. We've got a peace flag of white. We stretch it out at night. We have joined the NRA. Someday they'll both go down together. They'll bury them side by side. To a few it means grief, to many it's relief, but it's death to Bonnie and Clyde. I am a roving gambler. I've gambled all around. Wherever I meet with a deck of cards, I lay my money down. Lay my money down, lay my money down. I had not been in Washington many more weeks than 3 when I fell in love with a pretty little girl. She fell in love with me, fell in love with me, fell in love with me. She took me in her parlor, she cooled me with her fan, and whispered low in her mother's ear, I love this gambling man, love this gambling man, love this gambling man. Daughter, oh dear daughter, why do you grieve me so, to leave your dear old mother and with this gambler go, with this gambler go, with this gambler go. Mother, oh dear mother, you know I love you well, but the love I have for the gambling man no human tongue can tell, no human tongue can tell, no human tongue can tell. I've gambled up in Washington, gambled down in Spain, now I'm going back to Georgia to gamble my last game, gamble my last game, gamble my last game. Jack of diamonds, I know you of old. You robbed my poor pockets of silver and gold. Oh, whiskey, you villain, you've been my downfall. You've kicked me, you've cuffed me, but I love you for all. Oh, Molly, for your sake alone, that I leave my old parents, my house and my home. That I leave my old parents, you called me to roam. I'm an old rebel soldier and Dixie's my home. Jack of diamonds, I know you of old. You robbed my poor pockets of silver and gold. My foot's in my stirrup, my bridle's in my hand. I'm a-gonna leave Molly, the fairest in the land. Her parents don't like me, they say I'm too poor. They say I'm unworthy to enter her door. They say I drink whiskey, my money is my own, and them that don't like me can leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry, drink when I'm dry, and when I get thirsty, I'll lay down and cry. Jack of diamonds, I know you of old. You robbed my poor pockets of silver and gold. I'll build me a castle on yon mountain high, where my true love can see me when she comes riding by. Where my true love can see me and help me to mourn. I'm an old rebel soldier and Dixie's my home.
I'll get up in my saddle, my quirt in my hand. I'll think of you, Molly, when in some distant land. I'll think of you, Molly, you called me to roam. I'm an old rebel soldier and Dixie's my home. Jack of diamonds, I know you of old. You robbed my poor pockets of silver and gold. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay. Come along, boys, and listen to my tale. Tell you of my trouble on the Old Chisholm Trail. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay. Well, I started up the trail October 23rd. Started up the trail with the big ewe herd. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay. Woke up one morning on the Old Chisholm Trail, a rope in my hand and a cow by the tail. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay. Now old Ben Bolt was a blame good boss. He'd go to court the gals on a soul-back horse. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay. Well, it's beans and a bacon every day. I'll soon be eating that prairie hay. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay. Well, it's cloudy in the west, looking like rain. My darned old slicker's in the wagon again. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay. Well, I jumped in the saddle, I grabbed the horn. The best darn cowboy that ever was born. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay. Oh, well, I went to the boss to draw my roll. He had me figured out $40 in the hole. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay. So I'll sell my outfit fast as I can. I won't punch cattle for no darn man. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay. With my knees in the saddle, my seat in the sky. Quit punching cattle in the sweet by and by. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay, yippee, yay. Come a tie, yippee, yippee, yay. There was blood on the saddle and blood all around, and a great big puddle of blood on the ground. A cowboy lay in it, all covered with gore, and he never will ride any broncos no more. Oh, pity the cowboy, all bloody and red. All the bronco fell on him and mashed in his head. the bronco fell on him and mashed in his head. Blackjack David come riding through the woods, singing so loud and gaily, made the green hills around him sing as he charmed the heart of a lady, charmed the heart of a lady. How old are you, my pretty little miss? How old are you, my lady? She answered him with a he. I'll be 16 next Sunday. I'll be 16 next Sunday. She put on her high-heeled boots made of Spanish leather. She mounted on a coal black horse and they both rode away together. They both rode away together. Yes, I'll forsake my own landlord, I'll forsake my baby, I'll forsake my husband true to go with Blackjack David, and go with Blackjack David. Well, they rode, and as they rode, she thought of her baby. She gave up all so she could go and be with Blackjack David, to be with Blackjack David. Last night I slept on a warm feather bed beside my husband and baby. Tonight I'll sleep on the cold, cold ground and be with Blackjack David, and be with Blackjack David. You may look at that picture with wondering eye, and then at the arrow that's hanging close by, saying, tell me a story, yes, there's one I know, of a horse I once owned out in New Mexico. He was swift as an antelope and black as a crow, with a star on his forehead as white as the snow. His hair was like a lady's, was glossy and fine. He was mean, he was devilish, yet gentle and kind. His arched neck was hidden with a long flowing mane, and I called him plutonium, the pride of the plain. The country was new then, and settlers were scarce. The Indians on the warpath were savage and fierce. Scouts were sent out every day from the post, but they never came back, so we knew they were lost. My captain was a saying that someone must go for help to the border of New Mexico. A dozen brave fellows straightway answered here, but the captain, he saw me, I was standing very near. Petunia was with me, his nose in my hand. Said the captain, your horse is the best in the land. You're good for this ride, you're the lightest man here, and on the back of that Mustang you have nothing to fear. Then proud of my horse I answered, you know, Petunia and I are both willing to go. They all shook my hand and I mounted his back. Down the black pathway I gave him his slack. For 80 long miles o'er the plains we must go, for help to the border of New Mexico. The black struck a trot and he kept it all night, till just as the east was beginning to light. When back from behind us we heard a fierce yell, and we knew that the Indians were riding our trail. I rose up and jingled the bells on his reins. I stroked his neck softly and called him by name. He answered the touch with a toss of his head, and his black body lengthened as onward he sped. We were leaving the Indians, it was only too plain, when in my left leg I felt a sharp pain. The blood red and flowing gushed from Pat's side, but he never once shortened his powerful stride. Platonia, poor fellow, I knew he was hurt, but still he dashed onward and on to the fort. By good care, Platonia and I were soon well. Of his death long years after, I'll not be here to tell. You may look at that arrow that hangs on the wall. I was shot through my leg, boots, stirrup, and all. Of many fine horses I've since drawn the reins, but none like Platonia, the pride of the plains.